When creating a whole team, you have to keep a lot of factors such as speed, health, endurance, and especially power in mind. Using those factors, I've created a dream volleyball team using the Haikyuu Fantasy Draft Challenge as my template. I'm going to reveal the members one at a time, but to explain the challenge, which I'm doing on normal mode, you must create a rotation of 7 using characters from the Haikyuu universe, each one having their own unique value depending on their skill level. I was allotted a total of 55 points for the main rotation while getting an extra 5 points added on to make 3 members for a substitute roster. You can find out more information about this in the description below. Since I am on normal mode, that means I can only put a max of 2 players from each team. So for example, if I was to choose Narita and Kinoshita from Krasno, I can't also have Inashita to go with them. But without further ado, I'm going to showcase my team in order that I actually decided to pick them. Starting with my first pick, and the main person I originally intended to build the team around. This being Yu Nishinoya, who is from Krasno High. Now, why was he my first choice as a player? Well, because we see his ability time and time again to adapt to any of his challengers, and never once do we see him lose faith in his own ability. But honestly, I'm not too worried about this team ever losing their momentum, but what Nishinoya brings to the defensive side of the team is something that my man Ushijima is going to be bringing to the offensive side. So Ushijima is the super ace from Shiratorizawa. His left-hand spikes and even his serves are already deadly enough, and even though he costs a pretty penny, I feel he is properly valued. This man is going to be a killer on the court, and we saw him in Krasno match that he could go to the distance and can play at the top level even in a 5th game setting. He's also the man I'm going to give the title of captain to. Since out of everyone on this team, I do feel he fits that role best of everyone left to present. Now onto the more defensive side of this theoretical dream team. I'm trying to imagine a world where, yeah, we do have this incredible libero, but he's not the only one you're going to have to worry about if you're on offense. That's why I'm bringing in Ione, because he is a beast when it comes to blocking. However, I worry he will feel out of place without having the iron wall beside him. Ione alone is a great blocker, but to keep the defense at its best, I'm taking Udai from Kakugawa and changing his high school position from wing spiker to create him into a middle blocker in this team. As with his height, it kind of just makes sense. These two will create a new, and in my mind, a much more dominant iron wall. They both have also proven they could be equally as effective on the offensive side as well. Now, of course, a team is not complete without a setter. So the setter I've chosen to bring this team all together is one that I actually had to do a lot of considerations for. Because of course you're going to have that constant debate. Do you want to take Kageyama or are you going to go with Oikawa? Despite me focusing on these two, I ended up going with the third option entirely. And that was Atsumu Miya. As in my mind, he's someone that will always be willing to try what he thinks will work to win, even if it's unorthodox. He's never scared to break the mold, and just like Ushijima on the team, his serves are something to be feared. I do want him at his best though, and personally I believe that comes if you also have his twin brother on his side, Osamu Miya. Not only are they a good duo, but also Osamu on his own is still a very good wing spiker, and in his own right, I feel like he's someone who could also play very well with Ushijima by knowing how to give him the proper spacing he needs. For the last person of the rotation, I had to pick someone cheap, but I feel like I got a huge steal on this one. I picked Yoshiki Tawada. He was the previous captain of Oja Minami High. Now, when we first saw this man, he was someone who didn't care about losing, but we saw him change drastically in his one episode that he got. He learned what it meant to give his all, but in the end, I still think he's a good enough wing spiker, and he's someone who's shown now that he's willing to go for those chance balls. He's willing to do everything it takes to get that final hit in. And even though I worry about his stamina, that's why I would specifically have him in this spot, so that he could switch out with Nishinoya when the time comes. He also is the person I'm going to give the title of vice captain to, because with his background, I feel like he struggled the most out of everyone else on this team, and he could bring a lot more emotion because of those struggles. That concludes the starting 7 rotation. Now, as for reserves, I got Yamaguchi as a pinch server, which cost me 2.5. I got Ibuki from Oja Minami High as a backup setter for 0.5 points. And then I got Yuki as a backup libero for 2 points, concluding the whole team. Thanks for watching.